Wow. The most exciting words in sports. Game 7. And tonight in the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoffs, we had a Game 7 up in Dallas between the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. And what a game it was. Carson will join us here in just a bit after he shares the link. It gives me an opportunity to say that the Best Boys Center Ice Podcast 2025 Stanley Cup Playoffs wrap up shows are all available on our YouTube channel, Best Boys Center Ice Podcast YouTube. And that channel is available on the Refocus Radio Network. And you
Yep.
can also get Sweep the League with Rudy Campos Jr. and I Am Refocus Radio with Shamaya Reed on there. You can also find our stuff as well on TikTok. And Carson joining me here tonight. And I was texting you throughout the game, and there was a point that says, I don't ever recall a more exciting game 7 than we had tonight. And you pointed out just before we went on, it was like a low shot total,
Yeah.
but it was a
But it was a
grim
game
game.
7. I mean, it was very gritty, and every battle mattered. Every faceoff mattered. Every save mattered. Uh, every bat of the puck mattered. Obviously, the turning point would be that penalty that Jack Drury took, that holding call,
Mm-hmm.
which not necessary in that kind of point of the game. Sagan wasn't in a dangerous scoring opportunity to get the puck and score, and it bites them. It turns out to be the difference maker. But yeah, I mean, I don't recall either. I mean, the most exciting game 7 that'll still for me ever exists is the Ottawa Penguins
Mm-hmm.
game
Yeah.
7 in 2017, double overtime. But that game was really good. Don't get me wrong. But this one just had me on the edge of my seat. Uh, you know, the reason we're even on this late at this point is because I had a little mini birthday celebration with some of my friends, and they knew we had to have the game on because they knew it was game 7. We're no matter if you're a hockey fan or not, you still have to have pride for your state. And we are Tech. I'm born and raised Texas. You live in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
so it's as neat as much as we'd like our teams to do well. It's cool to see a team from your state, especially being the state of Texas, and a hockey team having so much success.
Yeah.
But yeah, really great atmosphere. I mean, you could almost just feel it through your screen watching the game, the excitement of the crowd, and you just would wish that you were there. It was that kind of night in Dallas, and huge for that town, that city, for them to advance because of after everything that happened with the Mavericks this year with Luka Doncic getting traded, they needed something to cheer about, and
Yeah.
the Stars were that team. And going into the series, no matter even though Dallas had home ice, they were not favored to win because of being down Haskin and Robertson, and they just pulled off a remarkable feat by beating Colorado in 7 games and now go into the next round having a couple days off. Who knows if those guys will be able to come back soon? If they do, they've just gotten that much better,
Yeah.
and they've started to really gel. Rantanen's found his form. Obviously, he two straight, two straight 4-point games. I think he had a
Yeah.
4-point game last game in Colorado, and he had another one tonight. But that's a dangerous team. I mean, that's a team that could win the Stanley Cup. That matchup we just saw is like a conference final like matchup, and we saw it in the first round. And it's unfortunate, Ray Ferraro and Sean McDonough at the end of that broadcast said it best in the last few minutes. One of these teams is going to move on, and one of these teams is going to like unfathomably go home early.
And both
Just because,
both 100-point teams.
yeah, and I mean, Colorado getting bounced the first round does not say that they're a bad team. They're a really good hockey team,
Mm-hmm.
and they just didn't win the series, and that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it was just unbelievable the sequence of this game. Colorado gets a shorty, and you think that could be the one that breaks it up for Dallas. So that's a shorthanded goal that you just let up in game 7. And then the third period, right off the bat, McKinnon got that goal, 7th of the series. So he had 7 goals in this
And
series.
that was on a delayed penalty, too.
Penalty. Yes, it was. He came right off the bench flying down and went right by the faceoff circle and beat Ottinger. Kind of flubbed the shot a little bit, I felt
Mm-hmm.
like, but it beat Ottinger. And at that point, you think the Stars are really in trouble because they haven't scored. And all of a sudden, Mikko Rantanen turns into the player that they've needed him to be in Dallas with the money they're paying him. And he ripped that first one bar down 2-1. And then the funny thing with the second goal, I actually missed it because my ESPN Plus kept freezing. And so it froze during the goal. And I found out because of your text that they had scored. but that wacky wraparound that went off of Gerard's foot.
It's like I was sitting here going, I was watching it, and I was like, I saw Rantanen behind the net, and I go, how did he score? But then, as you saw the replay, he was on his belly.
It was Gerard. Gerard hit his ankle and
hit
went
his
in.
ankle and went in.
Yeah, yeah, and then like I mentioned a few minutes ago, Colorado took that bad penalty, Jack Drury holding call in the last 5 minutes of the game, and within 10, 15 seconds it was, I think, that Dwight Johnston scored on that basically no angle, but he had a wide open net, and he did. Ripped it home, and then to finish the game off, Mikko Rantanen in the last 3 seconds gets an empty netter to complete the hat trick, and uh, Dallas wins this crazy series and this crazy game seven. This now makes Pete DeBoer 9-0 in game sevens, and all of them as a coach for him, but 9-0 in game sevens. That's unbelievable.
No coach nor player has ever won 9 game seven and gone 9 game sevens in the history of the NHL.
Yeah, and I mean my honest opinion after watching this, I know you still have a dog in the fight with the Oilers, but I'm like, who's going to stop that team from winning the Stanley Cup? Because they that I know y'all series was a really tight match. Obviously, yourself and Edmonton and LA, but going into this, I thought Colorado and Dallas was going to be the toughest series because those are both heavyweight teams. And I had Colorado coming out of the West this year, so both of my predictions are out the first round, much like probably a lot of other people's. But I don't see what can stop Dallas from winning the Cup, really, because now they've found their scoring touch. If it ends up being Winnipeg that they have to play, Hellebuck's been off his form. The Stars figure out a way to break through that. If it's the Blues, that's a team they're familiar with that also I feel like they can break through. That's going to be a tough team to beat in Dallas. So kudos to them. I haven't been that excited watching a game in a long time. That was such a great game seven.
What made it to me more impressive, it's okay, they were down 2-0 in the third, but they didn't get their first goal of the third period till almost 8 minutes in. So they scored 4 unanswered goals in the last 12 minutes of the hockey game. And it's just like, you knew that when Rantanen got it, that first goal on the power play.
They're back in it.
They're down 2-1 in Dallas. They got lots of time.
But then Colorado came right back and got some good opportunities there.
Yep.
The next couple minutes, they really did. And then Rantanen scored that goal, and that just deflated the Avalanche. But I really thought that after the Avalanche scored that second goal, that they really just let Dallas take over and do what they wanted. Kind of like what LA was doing with Edmonton, sitting back. And that's not what they should have done, because they could have forced Dallas to make mistakes with the puck, turn it over, get odd man rushes the other way. It didn't work out that way. Dallas figured out how to break through, and it's just so unfortunate that Colorado has to go home now, because that would just be, they're such a good team, and this is also could mark the end of an era maybe for Jared Bednar. I know he's been with them for a long time. He could maybe be on the way out after that. It's been a couple years. The Avs won the Cup in 22, but I don't know. I mean, just so so many mixed emotions for this, because I would have loved to see the Avalanche go far in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but it's so exciting to see Dallas move on, and I think get their chance at winning the Cup again, because they haven't had it in a long time. It's been 26 years since they won. They deserve it. They went all in this year, getting Rantanen, and made that big move that one team makes every year, that big fish move, and they did it.
Yep.
And let's see how it pays off for them. But just what a game! That was just an unbelievable game.
That's a game seven that you
won't forget.
You definitely won't forget.
No, and even Dallas. We talked about this right before we got on. Until tonight, Dallas had not come back from down 2-0 to start the third period in this season at all. Until tonight. They did it tonight. And when they were talking about that, I'm like, this is the Dallas Stars. They have 15, 16, 17 minutes to work with. They've got time.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. And they only needed that one goal to start off everything with Rantanen's goal. Just devastating if you're an Avalanche fan. I mean, that's a devastating loss.
Yeah, because
they had
Colorado had it. All they had to do was just keep the pressure on and not lay back like they did. But that's sometimes you just go into a mindset where you're up to nothing.
there's no reason to take a risk to try to blow your lead, but then you take the risk by not playing up
Yeah.
and not playing on your toes.
So now Dallas Stars will await the winner of tomorrow night's other Game 7 in Winnipeg. The Jets and the Blues tied at 3. It's going to be a 6 o'clock start our time. This one is you could easily sit here and go, well, Winnipeg's at home. The Blues are a young team, but the way
Hold on
Cook
now.
has
I
been
mean,
playing,
we've watched the Blues, how good they've been. They've outscored the Jets in this series. And I really feel like looking at it, they haven't played that bad in Winnipeg. They haven't. They haven't played that bad in Winnipeg. They haven't scored as much in Winnipeg. But number one is, can they take the crowd out of it early by either shutting the Jets down and not really allowing them anything, or scoring early? And for Winnipeg, is, can Connor Hellebuck be Vezina caliber, or if he's going to be just average?
right?
Because for the most part, he's been average this year. This playoffs been pretty average. He hasn't stopped a lot of pucks. He's gotten pulled
No,
3 times. That's been the story of that series. I really, I'm excited for that game too, but I don't see anything topping this game tonight between
no,
Dallas and Colorado. I don't like.
that'd be a
Honestly, I'm watching that game. I'm on the edge of my seat on my couch. My friends who don't watch hockey but watch with me, like when they go to the games and stuff, I'm like, oh my god! I'm like watching these plays. There's one play there after Rantanen scored. This is a subtle play, but Thomas Harley gets the puck right in front of the net, and the puck bobbles on him, and he has a wide open shot just to get it on the net. And I'm like, oh my! And then I'm like, oh no! Like it jumps on his stick. That's what this is about. That's what the Stanley Cup playoffs should be. Is you're on the edge of your seat. For me, I have no dog in this race. The Penguins aren't playing, and I'm still super excited watching these games. Like I can't miss it. I can't miss the games.
well. That's the greatness of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Your team may not be in it, but the games are
Yeah.
so exciting.
Well, yeah, you can't. I mean, you can't help but be intoxicated. But yeah, I mean, at least for Denver, that they have one thing to be happy about, that the Nuggets won their game
Yeah, the
seven
Nuggets
against the
did win their
Clippers
game
tonight. So at least they'll have something to cheer about. But really happy for Dallas,
7.
that city, that team. I want Otter to raise the cup already. I'm sorry, but I do. But McDavid deserves it first.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Like it's still a long ways to go, but we'll get the final team in to the Elite Eight, the final eight, tomorrow night with the Blues in Winnipeg against the Jets. And I'm sticking with what I said the other night. I'm going with the Blues being the first road team to win in this series by beating the Jets. I
I
just
think
think
this will be a low
Jets.
scoring game, or do you think it'll be high scoring?
Oh, I think it may not be like 6-2. I think it may be like 4-3, 4-2. Um, I look at the Jets and you're thinking, well, it would be easy to go with Winnipeg at home, best team in the league, President's Trophy winner. But man, not the way they played the last against the Blues. And I think the Blues again are in a situation where they have nothing to lose. They could lose Game 7 and know
Yeah,
that
and it'd
they
be
took the President's Trophy
yeah.
winner to Game 7.
Well,
They
no
could,
one had them going. No one had it going to game seven.
no,
No one. Everybody thought it was going to be 5 or 6, but the Blues are just a gritty team, and they have nothing to lose, like you said. And Winnipeg is everything to lose here. There's
yeah,
a lot more on the line for them than there is for Winnipeg or for St. Louis. If Winnipeg loses, the rumors come about again of relocation. The big guys like Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Nikolai Ehlers, what's going to go on with those guys
yeah,
eventually? Are they going to want to leave? There's a lot more on the line for the Jets. This is the biggest game, like I said last night. Up to this point, this is the biggest game in their franchise's history,
yeah.
because a lot could change because of this loss if they end up losing. And if they end up winning, then they narrowly escape a disaster and they go on to play a Dallas team that is a different challenge from the Blues. I don't want
Mhm.
to say they're a better team. By record, they're better. They have better star power, but they're a different challenge than the Blues are. I think the Blues are just that that team that just doesn't go away. They just are bugging you, bugging you, bugging you, and they shouldn't be there, but they are. They're like the kid in the school group that doesn't fit in, but they're still just grinding at your gears, making you frustrated. Meanwhile, Dallas is that big dog that you have to climb to get over the hill. That's going to be a tough challenge for Winnipeg, but I'm excited for that game. I just don't see it beating the feeling of this one. Honestly, I
No,
don't.
I don't think. I think you're right. So we got still the game 7 tomorrow night, but the second round will start. We found out
Monday.
will start on Monday with the Leafs at home to the Panthers. So that'll start the second round out east, and
Is it
then
just that one game, or is there
just
two?
just the one game because the two games will come up on Tuesday. Carolina in Washington, and then Edmonton and Vegas will be
Wednesday.
the Wednesday games. Now, right now they have two games scheduled on. They don't have them up yet. The two games for let's see, Wednesday.
Well, I wonder if they're going to have then Dallas and
Oh, you know what?
whoever to start
Yeah,
Tuesday night,
yeah, because
which is
they
weird that they wouldn't have y'all start on Monday then, because they're going to just finish up.
yeah.
I guess yeah, I guess you're right. Well, no, because so I guess you're right. Monday there would just be one game. Tuesday there'd be two, and then Wednesday I bet you St. Louis and Dallas would jump in on Wednesday, and then it'd make two a night after that.
Yeah.
So
So
somewhere between Vegas and Edmonton or Toronto, Florida, there's going to be an extra day break in one of
yeah,
those series.
one of those series. So it's got a lot of hockey yet to be played, and fantastic game 7 tonight. I don't know. Yeah, you're right, Carr. I don't think it's gonna be hard pressed for Winnipeg and
That felt like a Stanley Cup final game 7.
yeah,
And it was. And it was the first round for crying
yeah.
out loud. The first freaking
And
round.
so this will just by this probably this time tomorrow we'll know.
Oh,
The
well
final.
before. The game will be over at 8:30 or 9
Yeah.
o'clock.
So we'll know whether it's Winnipeg or St. Louis taking on Dallas. We
I
do
got the
know.
Blues too.
Yeah, we got the other series, of course, Vegas and Edmonton, and then out east, Florida, Toronto, and Carolina, and
Washington.
Washington. So there's lots of hockey yet to be played. And we'll be here with you every night going through the second round, the end of the first round, into the second round, and you can go back and watch all of our wrap-up shows on the Best Boys Center Ice podcast YouTube channel on the Refocus Radio Network, and then join us live tomorrow after the Blues and the Jets game, and we'll wrap that up. We'll wrap up the first. Round and take a look at who we think is going to make it out of the second round of the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoffs. All right, Card. That's a wrap. It's glad you had a good time on your with your friends on your little birthday get together.
Yep.
We just will do this. We'll do it again tomorrow night. And in the meantime, and in between time, everybody have a great hockey night.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Car.